Good afternoon and a warm welcome to all of you on behalf of Bangalore Sahodaya School Complex Association for today's workshop on coding across curriculum. Innovative Classroom, a division of Crazy Holidays in partnership with Champions Inc., will be presenting today's workshop along with hands-on experience for all the participants. We are having Ms. Mala Bankal, Mr. Vishnu, Miss Amita, and Miss Payal, who will be taking up the presentation today on coding across curriculum for all the teachers from standard 6 to 10. Yesterday, we did have workshop for standard 1 to 5. It was so very exciting. We had a huge number of participants and they're really happy the way the workshop was conducted with the hands-on experiences. So I'm sure many of you would have passed on the feedback to you all. Today also they've lined up an experiential workshop for all of you. May I request all the participants kindly mute yourself. See, as adults, as grown up, we need to be conscious of what we are doing. Please mute yourself, both video and the audio. You can put in your questions in the chat box. We will take up the questions towards the end. And if there is time permit, we can also ask, I'll make you unmute. You can ask the questions then. So please mute both audio and video. Towards the end, I will be pasting the feedback form in the chat box and you'll be asked to fill up the feedback form based on which you will be receiving your e-certificates. So please be attentive. Please be focused on your mute first. Please mute yourself because otherwise it will disturb it. It gives a hindrance to the persons who are conducting the workshops. So we are all here taking up the time out from our busy schedule. Let our session be very useful for us. So I thank Mr. Santosh and Miss Annie for coordinating with Bangalore Sahodaya in organizing this workshop. Thank you so much. O to Mala.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon to everybody. I would like to begin by thanking Manila ma'am and Bangalore Sahodaya for giving us a platform to present. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let me begin by introducing myself. I'm Mala Bankal, the CEO of Champions Inc., and I have been in various leadership positions in the IT industry. The biggest challenge in the IT industry, as we find, is it's very difficult to find students who are job ready and who are proficient coders. So this is the genesis of Champions Inc., wherein we are trying to bridge the fundamental gap between the industry and the requirements in the industry. So let us get back to the presentation. Um, so today we'll be discussing regarding coding and why do we need it across the curriculum, and how can we introduce interesting coding in the secondary years. So before that, I should actually thank you all for an overwhelming response for yesterday's presentation. And we will continue in the same league today by discussing why exactly we need to teach coding. So coding is essentially a language. It is no different from mathematics, English, Hindi. So it develops cognitive abilities of a child. Coding also improves problem solving capabilities. So what students do is they decompose a problem or a complex problem, they break it down into smaller parts and then they solve each problem separately. So that automatically improves their
How this
problem
is
solving
going to do with
capability.
Sahodaya exam?
Coding improves creativity as well.
Then White Hat Juniorದು setup ಇರಬೇಕಿದು.
Can you kindly mute, please? So coming back to this point that coding improves creativity, coding is a means of expressing oneself. So it actually empowers children. It empowers children to create. So imagine a scenario wherein instead of playing video games and all, children are creating their own games. So they get into the mode of creating things, researching, thinking, creating. children can create their own websites, they can create their own apps, they can create their own games, animations. So it brings about a different dimension in a child entirely. Also, coding improves logical thinking capability. Now, logical thinking is nothing but thinking out of the box. So instead of a rote learning method, if a child can actually think about for a single problem, how he can have multiple solutions to a single problem, that would automatically increase his thinking capability. Coming to these next 2 points, coding is a 21st century skill and coders are in great demand. Let us see how. Now, here are a list of the top IT companies. As you all know, India is one of the largest hubs for global IT MNCs, and we have more than 1,200 IT centers in India itself. So the technologies currently which are in demand are artificial intelligence, data sciences, artificial augmented reality, virtual reality, full stack, etc. But all of these fundamentally require the knowledge of coding. So it is very important to introduce coding as a part of our curriculum or computational thinking as well. Now, if you see the average fresher salaries, um, it ranges between 4 to 8 lakhs per annum. So IT companies are one of the highest paying industries. Now, let us see this chart in detail. We did a market research and we figured out that there would be around 5 million jobs per year in the 21st century. And most of them, more than 50% of them will be in the IT industry. But another study also reveals that most of our Indian engineers who are graduating year after year, either they are not exposed to coding because they graduate in various streams like civil engineering, industrial engineering, production, etc. But since IT industry is the major employer, they try to move into that. So they again start reskilling themselves. Or even if they have taken up computer science as the background, since they are exposed to almost around 2 years of coding in their professional careers, they do not have that confidence. They are not job ready and they're not ready to code. So this is one of the main reasons why we need to introduce computational thinking and coding right from school years itself. Now let us look at this, why coding, how do we make it interesting in secondary years? So as per research, a child's brain develops fully by the age of 9. So before that, the fundamentals, all your fundamental languages like maths, English, Hindi, they are introduced in the primary years because they are fundamentals, right? They are foundations. Even coding needs to be introduced in the primary years because after that, it's decision making. The higher order thinking skills of a child are already in, and you need to exercise those now. So after the age of 9, it's decision making. So thereafter, you need to introduce them to complex concepts. You cannot introduce them to basics of coding after 6th standard onwards. So we need to start explaining complex concepts, but to make it interesting for a child, we need to introduce a different dimension, which is called as GUI based tools, graphical user interface based tools. Because finally they are children. We have worked with the child psychologists who have told us that children like color, shapes, they like to play, they like movements. So that is an essential component of a GUI based tool. So initially you have to introduce those complex concepts through GUI based tools and gradually transition to terminal based coding. But before all this, we need to build problem solving capabilities like introducing coding maths, like discrete structures, linear algebra, Boolean algebra, which are the foundations of coding, and algorithms, the stepwise thinking, the flowcharts, the foundations of how to code. All of these through graphical user interfaces. We can definitely do it because you can introduce binary arithmetic also. There are some games which you can introduce while the child plays, and he can solve problems. He can do conversions. So going to the next point, coding is the only subject which is foundational as well as vocational. Foundational because it is equivalent to another language like maths, English, Hindi, and vocational. It should be introduced as a vocational subject at least because IT companies are the, it's got a huge demand. There's a huge demand over there, and we will be meeting that demand. So we will be supplying job ready students. So that's the reason why this is very important as a vocational subject as well. Now, if you see the National Education Policy 2020, it states that children pick up languages extremely quickly between the ages of 2 and 8, which delivers cognitive benefits to younger students. Coding is nothing but a language. It is definitely important to teach coding foundations or introduce it in primary years. But even in secondary years, we can fine tune it to introduce a GUI dimension to it. NEP focuses on experiential learning, more or less, having a storytelling based pedagogy. In schools, to a certain level, this is already addressed. As in, we as teachers take students to museums, field trips. So it is being definitely being taken care of. But we can introduce a different dimension on screen while they are coding by introducing programming constructs through GUI tools. Now, mathematics and computational thinking is another focus area of NEP. Why computational thinking? Now, computational thinking teaches a child to decompose a problem, difficult concepts into simpler concepts, and then pattern recognition. So the child will be able to actually, find the differences, the patterns in the problems that he sees. Then another thing is abstraction. So he focuses on the real thing and primarily on algorithms. So a stepwise way of thinking gradually. And all this should be made very enjoyable and engaging. So we can use GUI based tools definitely year on year to promote computational thinking. And NEP also focuses on critical thinking, higher order thinking capabilities, problem solving abilities, teamwork. All this is already a part of school curriculum. But as far as NEP, now we are going to focus more also on the computational thinking, higher order thinking skills, and algorithms. As per NEP, focuses on creating fun-based learning. This you can achieve by block-based coding, GUI tools, introducing these in the secondary years as well, and then go on gradually to terminal coding. Also, the focus of NEP is on vocational training. So coding is definitely the choice here for vocational training, considering there's a huge demand in the IT industry and we need to fill this particular gap. So we have developed the Champions K1 to K12 coding stack. These are a few of the technologies which are being used right from first standard to 10th standard, year on year, where we introduce GUI based tools to improve their to introduce computational thinking and to introduce terminal based coding thereafter. And first we start off with logical and critical thinking for the primary years. From class 5 and 6 onwards, we introduce coding maths. Thereafter, we go on to algorithmic thinking. After that, we get on to computational thinking, GUI-based coding, and then finally, the terminal-based coding is in the end. So it is important that a student builds up on his problem solving and thinking capability before even he gets on to coding. So in 6th grade, how do we support the secondary curriculum? In this 6th grade, in all the grades, 6th grade onwards, we address coding maths, but in a child pedagogy manner. So we have brought down complex concepts down to children's level. And algorithmic thinking, computational thinking. Now 6th standard, they are experts in Python. The reason is we start off from 4th standard itself. We start Python as a GUI-based tool, using GUI-based tools right from 4th. They take at least 3 years to internalize the concept and to actually come out with their own solutions. So 4th, 5th, and 6th, we focus on Python. 7th standard onwards, we introduce gradually JavaScript as a language, but through block-based coding tools, and children create their own games. It's fun for them. And Java, we introduced object-oriented programming concepts and Java very gradually using GUI-based tools, and then they graduate to terminals. 8th standard also we start with OOPS concepts through GUIs and advanced Java concepts. 9th grade, we continue with OOPS and Java API level. So we are increasing the complexity, as you see, year after year. So a student will be actually expert in Python by 6th standard and expert in Java by the 8th standard, and by 10th standard, since he would have worked on application level Java coding, he would be job ready. So this is what I had for you. If you have any inquiries or any, you want to have some discussions with us, you can actually contact our partners, Innovative Classroom. You can contact Mr. Santosh, Mr. Georgie, Mr. Johanan, or Annie. This is the team of Innovative Classrooms and Crazy Holidays. So with that, I would like to hand it over to Vishnu to start off the session. And please have a good time.
Yeah. Should I share the video, ma'am?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. I think it is visible for everyone.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Can everyone mute themselves? Request all to mute themselves. Yeah.
Thank you, Vishnu. And with this, I would like to hand it over for GUI-based coding. Amita, can you please share your screen? So please work along with us.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys can see my screen.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'm Amita, working as a lead with Champions Inc. with masters from the government college. And prior to this, I have experience in the IT industry as well as teaching. So, like you guys saw how Vishnu showed you various games, animations that has been created using various tools. Today's presentation, I will take you through how we teach advanced concept using GUI tool as well as terminal. We will show you how the transition happens from the GUI tool to the terminal. So this is called Pencil Code. This is an editor. This is an online editor where you can do it online. So Pencil Code basically allows you to create games, to create web pages, graphs, and simulations. So you can also create stories, play a piano, play music. So you can do n number of things, create geometric shapes, use it to teach mathematics. So within Pencil Code, you can choose JavaScript or HTML script or CSS. So this is what we use in Champions to teach the children to before allowing them to use the terminal. So this is the block-based tool that we use. So if you see here, it is a simple block-based tool where you simply drag and drop the features. So if you see on my right, you have some blocks like move, which will help you in any movement. So they're all predefined functions, which you just have to drag and drop. And some art functions, sound, controls, and so on. So today we will look at move, art, and control blocks, and you guys will have a hands-on on that. So what it actually helps. So you can learn about mathematical concepts such as angles, degrees, pencil code. So when you're trying to teach your children mathematics, you can try to use it to just make it very friendly. You know that children remember better if they see visually. So you can use it. You can also teach them music by writing code. So in a way, they get to learn music as well as to write code. You can also create some interactive stories grammar using this tool as well. Here, what you see is what you get. This is what you guys are going to do along with me today. You're going to draw, we're going to take a small concept of triangle and draw a flower using a triangle, advanced concept of loops. So we use these tools to teach loops. We use few other tools to teach recursion. There are other sorting, searching. So we have n number of tools to teach children, graphically as well as on the terminal so that they'll be able to remember better. Loop. Loop is basically a program structure that keeps repeating itself n number of times until a specific condition is met. It's a very advanced concept. Like it is said here, if you ask a question, then the answer requires an action that is executed. The same question you ask again and again, it refers on until the action is required. So each time question is asked is called one iteration. So the first time you're asking a question and you're getting an answer is the first iteration. Like for example, you want to print a number from 1 to 100. Instead of giving 100 printf statements, most of you all know that a printf statement is used to print on the screen. So instead of giving 100 times, you can use these loop concepts to print something on the screen. You can use these loop concepts where you want to repeat it again and again. So something you want to repeat in sequence, then you use this loop concept. There are various kinds of loop like for loop, do while loop, and if else loop. Today, I will take you to a simple for loop. Now, if you see on the bottom, there is this pencilcode.net. So I want each one of you to open your web browser and type in this URL so that you will be able to have an hands-on along with me. It will be there in the chat box. The link will be available in the chat box. So any queries you have, look at it in the chat box. Please post it also in the chat box. Yeah, like it's stated here, we all know that in a triangle, all the three sides are equal. So you know we have an internal angle and an external angle as well. So here the internal angle is 60 degrees and the external angle is 20 degrees. So what we are trying to do here today is we are trying to draw a triangle using a loop concept, using a for loop, using this external angle 120 degrees. So let me open my browser. Yeah, hope all of you can see my screen.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes,
please
ma'am.
on the browser pencilcode.net. All of you, please try to type in pencilcode.net on your browser. You will get this screen, this home page. You can access Pencil Code using a login as well as Let Us Play. If you create a login, you should already have an account. So you create a new account and then log in. As of today's session, we'll just use Let's Play. We'll click on this Let's Play button and then it will take you to the editor. So if you see here, like I mentioned, there are blocks. Move block, which will have all the movement functions. Art block, which will talk about all the drawing. Text, which will help us to type in something. And as well as control block. So what we do, there's already predefined program here. Just left click and drag it out all the blocks so that we can start typing a new program. I hope all of you are in power with me and you guys are able to do the same what I'm doing on the screen.
Yes.
This is the online editor that I was talking about. This is the input screen where we are going to type in some command, and this is your output screen. So when you're going to run this using this button. So what we'll do, we already have an output screen. So we need a pen to draw something, right? So what we'll do, we'll go to this art block, drag this pen here, and you can select whichever color pen you want. So I'm going to, select a red color. And this is the thickness of the pen. So if you run it, you will be able to see that the pen has got initiated on the screen. I hope all of you are able to see.
Amita, there's a request to repeat. Could you please repeat so that they can follow?
Yeah. So all of them who have joined in late, please go to the web browser, type in pencilcode.net, and then I will drag out all these predefined already program which is present here, and then you'll get this empty editor where you can type in the code. Yeah, so now we need a pen to draw. So go to the art block, drag in this pen, select any color of your pen, whichever you want. So I've selected purple now and you will be able to see that the purple colored pen has been initiated. Now, like we saw, we are trying to draw a triangle, and using the triangle, we will draw a flower. So, two lines. We need a line to draw and we need an angle to draw. So what we'll do, we'll drag in this forward command as well as this right command. So drag in forward and right. Like you all saw in that PPT, we have to type in an external angle. So external angle was 120 degrees. So let's see what will happen here. So a triangle will draw a line forward 100 and then the pen will turn 120 degrees. So for this, you need 3 such statements to draw a triangle. So again, write 120 degrees. Again, a forward statement and a right 120 degrees. I hope all of you are in par with me and able to do the same. So I have used two commands which has been repeated 3 times. So if you run this program, you'll be able to see that the triangle is getting drawn. So if you see here, instead of typing it 6 times, the same command is getting repeated 3 times, the forward and the right, forward and the right, and the forward and the right. So instead of using that, we will put it into an advanced concept of loop. So what we'll do, we'll go to this control panel, drag this for loop, put one forward here inside that, and drag this right command and drag all of these out. Again, I will repeat. We will drag this for loop and put a forward command inside the for loop as well as the right. So what actually this is doing is, instead of giving forward and a right 3 times, we are putting it in a loop. We have condensed the program of 6 lines to 2 lines. So this line will get drawn 3 times. 1 time, the second time, and the third time. I hope all of you are able to do the same what I am replicating on my screen.
Yes.
Where I took 6 lines of code to do this. I put it in a loop and able to draw a triangle. So this is the loop concept which I was talking about. Instead of printing something n number of times, you can just put it in a for loop, give a condition, how many number of times you want to, you want that to be met, and then it'll reduce the code. So this is the concept of for loop. Now I will take you through the advanced nested for loop. I hope all of you can see my screen. All of you can see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. For loop.
Yes, ma'am.
Nested for loop is nothing but a loop inside a loop. So you already saw how a for loop is. You'll have another loop inside. That means to say you have an outer loop and then you'll have an inner loop inside an outer loop. So what happens? The inner loop gets executed first and then the outer condition will get executed. Loops, there are different kinds, like I said, if else, do while, and for loop. So we are going to see how we'll be able to do the same program. I hope you can see my screen where I came back to the editor.
Yeah, yes, we can see.
So now we will try to draw the same triangle using a nested for loop. So we'll put this for loop inside this another for loop. So what will happen? This inner loop will get executed first and then the outside loop. This is an advanced concept in programming called as nested loop. A for, use a do while, or you can use an if else. So what I will do, I will type it out 5 times and then I will show you what will happen. So here, the inside code is getting executed, but did you see it will get executed 5 times on the same thing. I'm drawing this triangle. I'm executing the same thing 5 times on the same triangle. So if I have to draw something, I have to draw a flower, or I want to draw 4 or 5 such triangles. I need an angle. I need to make another angle, right? So I will just drag this right 90 degrees and show you what will happen. So you see it is getting drawn for the 4th time, but I have given my loop for 5 times. So it will get redrawn on the first one. So whatever angle I have given is a little bigger for 5 petals to draw. So if you saw here, I dragged in a speed, function. Speed is just to speed up the process so that, you can see an output little fast. So what I will do, instead of 90-degree angle, I will put 70-degree angle. So you will be able to see how 5 petals will get drawn. Did all of you see how a beautiful flower got drawn using the simple geometrical triangle concept and using a nested for loop concept? You are able to create a geometric shape. Now we will fill this triangle, by dragging fill. I will try to fill it using a yellow color. You can fill it with any color you want. Yeah. So let me repeat this. This is the pen that you need for drawing something. The speed is just to increase the speed of the execution of the code. This is the outer for loop that I have used. I've given a right 72 degrees because I want to draw 5 such triangles. This is the inner loop of the for to draw a triangle. Because the exterior angle is 120 degrees, I have given right 120 degrees. Later, I am filling a triangle yellow color. Like this, you teach children various using for loops, and we use various other tools as well to teach the children. So this is what you guys did now. You can take a screenshot if you were not able to do parallel along with me. You can do it anytime. It is just a simple drag and a drop button, which you can drag and create such wonderful geometric shapes. If you see here, this is the inner loop. This is an external loop, which is being called 25 times. You can draw this geometric shape also. This is this inner loop has five sides, a forward and a right angle, and that is called 10 times. So like this, you can create a geometric shape. This is another inner loop, which is called 5 times, and the outside loop is called 30 times. Like this, we teach for loop and other advanced concepts in Champions Ink. Now I would, my colleague would take over and she will show you how to transit from the block-based coding to the terminal. I hope all of you enjoyed this session and you will do this. We have put the code on the over to you, Payal.
Yeah, thank you, Amita. And good afternoon, everyone. and a very warm welcome to Champions INC. My name is Payal Agarwal, and I am a lead instructor in Champions. So previously, I worked in ICSE schools as a computer teacher for secondary years, and I also worked in IT industry, and I also worked as an auditor for various CBSE and ICSE schools. So this is about me, and now let's begin this session. So I hope everyone is able to see my screen.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So let's start this session. So you have seen GUI coding for advanced concept of Java. And now let's see the transition from GUI to Java terminal coding. So first of all, let's brush up the concept of nested loop. So nested loop is nothing. It's just a loop inside the another loop. It's called nested loop. So the outer loop, it actually controls your inner loop. And this can be done for all the loops like in if else, do while, for loops. In all the loops, you can use this nested loop concept. So here inner loop always execute first, and once it's over, then only it will execute the outer loop. Flowcharts. So yeah, everyone please mute yourself. So we teach our students to draw flowcharts for every concept. You know, once they understand the concept, then we get them to draw the flowchart and move to the terminal coding. And this is the flowchart of for loop. So you have already seen a triangle drawn using for loop in earlier session. I hope you remember that. So this is the flow of for loop program. And this is the flowchart of nested for loop, how it works. So we have already covered the concept of nested loop in earlier session where we have drawn a beautiful flower. And this is the flowchart of nested for loop. And please note here that inner loop complete first and then only you can execute your outer loop. So now let's draw a pattern program by using nested loop. So first we are going to understand the logic, how we can create this kind of pattern. So for this, what I did, I just convert my diagram or my pattern into a 2D matrix form. So the picture will be more clear. So we teach our students logic first to understand any concept. And this is a very important question. I mean, this type of pattern, which is asked in ICSE 10th standard board exam. So this kind of pattern today we are going to draw. So this is made so simple by explaining nested loop using GUI tools earlier. And this pattern we can create with the help of using two loops. So first loop will work for the rows, which is the horizontal representation. And second loop works for the column, which is the vertical line. And we will use Java loops to create this kind of pattern. Now see how these iterations will work. So here you can see we have inner and outer loop concept. And as the number of rows increases, the number of stars is also increased. So in the first row, 1 star, and in the second row, 2 star, and so on. So like here you can see as the number of rows we are increasing, the number of stars is also getting increased. So for every iteration of the outer loop, the inner loop executes completely. And look at the way how the stars are formed by inner outer loop iteration. And this is the flow chart of half pyramid pattern, how you can achieve this. Now let us code together in Java and create a half pyramid pattern. So this is the online Java editor which you can use. And you can check the link in your chat box. So everyone, please just check in your chat box. Please use this link for online Java terminal to write your program along with me. And please check your chat box where you will get these links. So I am going to use BlueJ for this. So are you able to see my screen?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so I am going to use this software to write my program, but you can use online editor because this kind of software you have to install first, then only you can work. So for this, you can use online editor, the same program you have to write. So just check in the chat box, paste the link in your browser and press enter.
Ma'am, in the link the editor opened has 2-3 lines of coding for hello world.
Yeah,
Shall
yeah.
we delete that?
Yeah, you can delete or you can delete the system.out.println, that statement, because initial two things, it will be there.
Okay.
I'm also going to write, yeah. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to create my new class. So here I need to give my program name. And now my class has been created. Now I'm going to open my editor. Yeah, please mute yourself. So this is my editor where I am going to write my program. So like this, on your screen, one editor is there where you can also write your program. So first line will be the class and class name. And second, we are going to call our main program. So for this, public static void main, which is already there in your program. Java is a case sensitive language. So here you can see string S is capital. So if you put it into the small letter, then it will show error. Okay, this much you have on your screen. Now what I'm going to do, I will initialize my variable. Okay, so two variables I need, one for the row and second for the column. So int space I comma j semicolon. Okay, I hope you are able to follow me. I just wrote one instruction, int space I comma j semicolon. So I and j are my two variables. I am going to use for printing the number of rows and j I'm going to print the number of columns. Then go to the next line. And then we are going to start with our loop. First loop, which is an outer loop. So for, in my loop, I'm going to write three parameters. So first will be the initial value, I equals to 0, semicolon. Then you have to write your condition, I less than equals to 5, 6. It's up to you how many number of rows you want to print. Semicolon, I plus plus to update the value of your variable every time. I hope you are able to follow me. I'm just going to repeat myself. This is my outer loop. So you have to write for, in the brackets, you have to pass three parameters. First will be the initial value, I equals to 0, semicolon. Then I less than equals to 5. This is a condition, how many times I want to repeat my loop. And then I plus plus. Every time the value of I has to be increased by 1. I hope everyone is able to follow me till this part.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now we are going to start with our second loop. Second loop, we are going to write for the column. So same thing for, and this time my variable is j. And again, three parameters you need to pass in a similar way. So j equals to 0, which is the initial value of my variable. And then my condition, j less than equals to I. Why this condition? Because as the number of I is increasing, the number of stars is also increasing. Like first line, 1 star, second line, 2 stars. So the value of j will be depend upon the I. And then j plus plus. Okay, this is your nested loop, outer loop and inner loop. And if the condition is true, then what it's going to be print? It's going to be print my star. So system dot out dot print. In double quotes, you have to write within the double quotes what you are going to print. Yeah, please mute yourself. So here you can see we have used 2 loops. One is the outer loop, second one is the inner loop. And once your inner loop condition is true, it will print your star. System S is capital, please remember this. System dot out dot print, then brackets, and within the double quotes you have to write your star, which you are going to print, and then semicolon. I hope you are able to follow me till this part.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now go to next line and close this. How to close? Just put a curly brace. Okay, so now this statement is closed. Now I'm going to write my next statement. So my next statement will be that once my first row is complete, then my cursor should move to the next line. So how you can go to the next line? So again, system dot out dot print ln. ln, this time I'm using ln. ln denotes it's a next line. And then same bracket, semicolon. Okay. And then just close. How many brackets you have opened, just close all the brackets. Okay, so this is our program. So I'm just going to repeat myself. First, I just wrote class space class name, my program name. And then I just call my main program, public static void main. Okay, and then you have to initialize your variable. I'm going to use 2 variables here, and the name of variable is I and j. And then we wrote 1 loop, which is for the rows, number of rows, and second loop for the number of columns. And then once my condition is true, it will print the star. And one condition is false, it will get exit from this inner loop, and the cursor should move to the next line. Okay, and now I'm going to compile this. There is no syntax error. So in your online editor, directly you can run your program. So for me, I'm going to the screen and I have to click this button. And this is the star pattern. So you are using online terminal. So in that you will get directly a run button. You just click on that and then you're able to see the output. So I hope everyone is able to follow this program. I'm going to show the program one more time. If anything you want to note it down, you can check here. Everyone is able to follow?
Yes, I think.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So in this manner, you can create a different kinds of pattern. Okay, so this kind of lovely pattern in Java you can get by using nested loop concept. So I hope this session would be informative and interesting for you. And if any queries there, you can please post your query in the chat box. Okay, thank you. And over to you, Mala ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Amita. Thank you, Payal. So I'm going to share my screen. Just wanted to discuss regarding the training sessions on 27th and 28th October. So we are going to have 2 training sessions for your students in your school. So please note this down. 27th October, we will be having a training session from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. for classes 2 and 3. We will be teaching them block-based coding, and there will be a small competition. At the end of that, they will have to submit. They will have to create something of their own based on the concepts that we teach them, and submit their block-based program. And 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. the same day, we will be having it for classes 4 and 5. We will start them on Python, in fact, and they will start coding in Python, and they will also have to create something and submit it. 28th October, we'll again continue with the training session. So in the morning time frame for classes 6 and 7, and 3 to 4:30 p.m., 8, 9th and 10th. So this will be a training session along with a small competition or a contest. So they will have to submit whatever they have been taught. They have to create a concept based on that, and also submit it. So this is the session. And again, I would like to come back to, if you have any queries, not technical you can ask us, but if you have anything, if you want to implement this as a part of your school, or you have any other queries in the implementation part of it, you can contact our partners, Innovative Classroom and Crazy Holidays. Please note down the email IDs and the contact numbers. So I hope you had a very informative session. So thank you so much. And now we leave the floor open for questions.
Ma'am, you told for students there is this one, no, on 27th and 28th. They have to register, ma'am.
Yes. So that pamphlet would be sent across to your schools.
Okay.
So you can do it.
Because we need the details. That's why.
Yeah, regarding the clarification, now it will be uploaded on Sahodaya website shortly, and you can ask your principal to check and let you know. So it is different workshops for different classes. So it will be nice if children can join and understand about coding. So it will be uploaded on Bangalore Sahodaya. You may inform your principals.
The this one, ma'am, course that day?
No, it is just a hands-on experience about coding for 2nd and 3rd separate, 4, 5, 6, 7 separate, 8, 9, 10th it's separate, like that.
Okay, ma'am.